Last summer I toured New England, and the first state that I headed to was Maine. I'd never been there before, and I wanted to have a very nature experience, so I mostly camped at state parks. I traveled all the way up to Presque Isle, Maine to Aroostook State Park, Maine's first state park, and I stayed there for a week. It was a relatively small campground with 30 sites, several of which had water and electric hookups, but the campground didn't have a dump station. Once I set up camp, I took Gus for a walk around the campground. There weren't a whole lot of other campers. I did see several RVs, and there were some tent campers. Gus and I couldn't pass up the opportunity to hike the nature trails. One of the trails was closed due to some flooding. It rained quite a bit while I was in Maine in August. Now, I don't know if that's typical for that time of year, but when the sun was out, the temperature was in the low 70s, so that was really nice. The park sits next to Echo Lake, has a boat ramp, dock for fishing, and a number of picnic tables near the lake. I did do some fishing while I was there, but as usual, I didn't catch anything. This state park sits on nearly 900 acres and is apparently popular for its winter activities like cross-country skiing, ice skating, and winter camping, if you're into that sort of thing. Of course, the main attraction that I wanted to see while in Maine was ACADIA National Park. So Gus and I traveled south to Lamoine State Park, which was not too far from Acadia and Bar Harbor. So I have to have my generator on, even though I don't need the air conditioning or the microwave, because my site isn't level, and so my refrigerator is not operating off of propane. Now, I did put the effort into getting some leveling locks at Walmart, but that's still not high enough. And I had other leveling things, but I mangled them. I haven't seen anybody at this campsite for a few days. I mean, are they still alive? I don't know. I was able to park my RV at Hulls Cove Visitor Center parking lot at Acadia National Park, and I took the Island Explorer shuttle bus into Bar Harbor to take a whale watching cruise with Bar Harbor Whale Watch Company. What I was hoping to see was this, but instead what I saw was this. I guess it's asking a lot of a whale to expect it to jump out of the water just to entertain me, but I did enjoy seeing the whales anyway. There was a whale expert on the cruise that provided information about the whales over the loudspeaker. These were humpback whales, known for their singing during courtship. So sit back, relax, and listen to the soothing sounds of the whale song. It was pretty chilly out at sea. The temperature was in the 50s and it rained a little too, but I wore a sweatshirt and a raincoat, so I was good. The view of the coast from the boat was amazing. The cruise lasted a few hours, but after seeing the whales, I was hungry and eager to get something to eat at one of Bar Harbor's excellent restaurants, and of course I ordered the Maine classic lobster roll. The next day I took a tour of Acadia, again parking my RV at the Visitor Center parking lot. I bought an annual America the Beautiful Pass at the Visitor Center, and that pass allows free access to all national parks and federal recreation areas. I took the shuttle bus tour of the park. Well-behaved dogs are allowed on the shuttle bus, but Gus isn't very well-behaved, so he had to stay in the RV. It was around 70 degrees, not too hot, so he was okay. I spent about 4 hours sightseeing. I didn't get to see everything, but I did see most of the highlights of the park. I didn't want to take too long because I had to travel to my next campground, Bradbury Mountain State Park. I've got so much I have to do today. This is what happens when you move around and are changing campgrounds all the time. What happened was I was confused about how long I was supposed to stay at the campground that I was at, Lamoine State Park. I knew the date that I was supposed to leave, but I was confused about the day of the week. So for whatever reason, I thought that I was supposed to leave today when in fact I was scheduled to check out yesterday. So yesterday morning, I got up and around 10:30, I went to ACADIA National Park and I took Gus for a walk on one of the carriage roads, and then I put him back in the RV and I was going to take the shuttle bus around the park by myself just to see all the sights. And as soon as I get on the shuttle bus, I'm looking up at the digital display there where it has the date, the time, and I see the date and I realize that that's a date of my checkout. It's like, oh my God, am I supposed to have checked out today? So I checked my confirmation, my reservation confirmation email. Sure enough, I was scheduled to check out yesterday. And I thought, oh God, should I just get off the bus right now? Because I was going to have to drive 2.5 hours to my next campsite. And I thought, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to make the day of it here at Acadia National Park. I took the shuttle bus around the park and I liked it. And I'm glad I did it. However, I didn't get back to the visitor center where my RV was parked until like 4:30 in the afternoon. And because I wasn't planning on checking out of my campground yesterday, before I left, I didn't go to the dump station to dump my waste tanks. I didn't fill my water tank. I needed to fill my fresh water tank because the day before, the campground that I'm at now, they called me up and told me their water got contaminated. And so I needed to bring my own drinking water. So I knew I was going to have a full fresh water tank. After I left Acadia, I had to go back to my old campground and dump my waste tanks as well as dump my trash and fill up my water tank. I didn't leave until close to 6. And I was hoping to get here before dark, but I didn't. I got here maybe like around 8:30. It was dark. I don't like to get to campsites when it's that dark because it just makes it more difficult to find my campsite and to back in and everything. However, I managed to do it and I was completely exhausted. And today I've got a lot of errands to run because I have to go grocery shopping. I have to go to the laundromat. I don't have to, but I really should go to a car wash to get my RV washed because it's filthy dirty. So yeah, that was the mistake that I made, but it all worked out. Bradbury Mountain State Park Campground has approximately 35 campsites available for use for RVs as well as tent campers. But it doesn't have any utility hookups, so I had to use my generator. Also, the campground doesn't have a dump station. I have to say, I wasn't really super impressed by the campground. and it was next to a fairly well-traveled road, so you can hear the traffic. However, there was another area of the park across the street that was much nicer, with plenty of grass and picnic tables and the trail up Bradbury Mountain. Bradbury Mountain is less than 500 feet high, but despite its size, it has panoramic views that make the park one of the more popular ones in the state. Look at those trees growing straight out of the rock. The hike up the mountain in itself made the stay worthwhile. This state park was my last stop on my tour of Maine, and I was getting ready to leave.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important announcement.
I'm getting ready to leave Bradbury Mountain State Park, and my motorhome won't start. This is what's happening. But I don't think it's the battery because, yeah, the light's coming on. So I was frantically calling around all these different places. It's hard to find a mobile repair service that actually works on the engine and the chassis part of the motorhome. Most RV repair places usually work on the RV section. I had to call around, and there was one place that I called that, while they didn't assist, they gave me the phone number for another place that will, so they should be here within the hour. Hopefully it won't be a huge monumental problem. Hopefully they'll be able to fix it so I can get the heck out of here and on the road. Okay. I'll spare you the angry tirade and calmly tell you what happened. The issue was a drained battery, and all it took was a battery recharge with some jumper cables to get my motorhome running and back on the road. I paid nearly $250 for a mobile RV repair guy to jumpstart my motorhome when I had jumper cables, and I could have asked someone at the campground if they could give me a jump start. I even have a AAA membership, and AAA would have done the same thing for free. But I didn't think the problem was the engine battery because the radio and the interior cab lights were working. Once I realized that the battery was drained, I immediately knew the cause. My Jackery power station. I wasn't plugged into shore power, and overnight my Jackery power station was plugged into the 12-volt outlet in my cab, and it drained the battery. I should have known better, but I charged my cell phone in the cab all the time, and it never drained my engine battery, but my cell phone clearly doesn't use as much power, so that was a $250 lesson learned. As you could imagine, I was pretty aggravated by the whole incident, but I didn't want to leave Maine on a bad note. So I just tried to remember all the good times I had while in Maine, and it didn't take long before I was able to forget about the whole incident. After all, I had another adventure to look forward to. Bye-bye, Maine.